Hi, hello, and welcome. I'm definitely not Lad, and you're watching me pug my way to two. What do you mean, black bar? Oh, that thing. Oh, don't worry about it. That's got nothing to do with this. It'll be much more relevant to the next video series I do once I'm done pushing my Guardian Druid to 2.8k rating in Dragonflight Season 2. In this episode, I'm gonna try and do one of the two dungeons that I still haven't done on 20 this week. So I went ahead and I did a 16 Neltharion's Lair, and I figured out a few points where there's specific things you need to do to handle Sanguine. The key things and the things that were stressing me out the most were the ones where you have the turrets or the not turrets, the rockbound pelters, which are effectively turrets. They stand there and they pelt you with rocks. They're a bit of a pain point, but they're actually super easy to handle. So they usually get stacked, especially when you have a Guardian Druid, because the Guardian Druid can just use Ursol's Vortex. But even if they don't get stacked and they spread out, you just kill them if they're spread out. It doesn't matter. But let's say they're stacked. If they're stacked, wait for one of the Pelters to die and then knock the other one back with your Typhoon and you're good to go. The Wild Shard Hulks are also a bit of a pain point. This first pull, where there's just the one guy and the Shaper, it's super easy. But in this one, where I pull the Shaper, the Hulk, another Shaper, and a Breaker, that's a bit of a pain in the ass because you have to make sure that you don't point anything at the group. The Hulk is basically the one that you don't want anything to be under while he's casting. You can kite him as a melee mob, but when he does his cast, he's basically immobilized for 2 seconds. And 2 seconds is a lot of Sanguine healing. You don't want anything to die underneath the Hulk unless he just casted his shit, and then you can kite him out of it. Another big thing is making sure that the Shapers are appropriately interrupted so that you can maneuver them like melee mobs. One thing of note is that the Geode actually drops a Sanguine pool, so keep an eye out for that. It's not a big deal. They die very quickly, and the rest of the group is usually very healthy at that point. So moving, even if they do stand in Sanguine for a little bit, you're not losing that much damage. The Sanguine doesn't have a chance to heal much. There's also another Geode in this pull, so keep an eye out for those two. So with the Dominators and the other mobs that you pull with them, the Dominators are super easy to kite around. They only have the one cast that they do, which is the Frenzy. The Frenzy they cast for a second, 1.3 seconds. Just make sure that there's nothing dying under the Dominator. Just knock them back or do whatever you can. This Breaker and all the other Breakers in this area are actually CCable. The rest of the Breakers in the dungeon are not, but the Breakers in this area can be CC'd for some reason. Don't ask me why, but they can. So if this Breaker is going to die underneath this Dominator, just knock him back with your Typhoon if you have it up. For the Dominator Trapper combo, you can also use Typhoon to knock the Trapper away. The Trapper should be dying first unless your group is being very silly and focusing the Dominator completely and just not even cleaving the Trapper. Considering how long they take to kill even on a Tyrannical, you can usually just get away with knocking them back, and you'll have it up again for the next Trapper as well. Considering that he's a turret, what you can also do is move the Dominator away from him when he's about to die, so that works too. Anyway, those are the points of interest in this dungeon regarding Sanguine. The rest of it's very easy. You literally just backpedal and you will avoid Sanguine. Alrighty, getting started with a 20 Neltharion's Lair. I managed to get invited. Finally didn't have a group of people that just wanted to run a super high key, or run a key that's much higher than their clear. Because there were a bunch of people that are doing like, they only have a 20 or something, or they only have like an 18 cleared, but they don't want to invite me because my clear is too low, right? So I just found that a little bit funny. But yeah, here I'm gonna try and focus up. Jesus Christ, where's my HP going? I'm gonna try and focus up and make sure nothing happens as far as Sanguine's concerned. This first pull is really easy. There's really only 3 mobs, and all of them are easy to manipulate because they're all melee. You just move them around. The Tar Splitter Lurkers are what you have to keep an eye out for. They're basically the ones that will potentially cause issues. I just knocked stuff back at the possibly worst possible time, but it worked out. Nothing stood in Sanguine for too long. Sanguine only healed 200k. Shouldn't have healed that much either, but what can you do? Alright, we're grabbing these little crawlers. So we need them for percent. This is where we're going to stop. Now here we can just kite the mobs to keep them out of Sanguine. It shouldn't be much of an issue. Just have to be cognizant of the frontal. So I'm gonna, oh, it is a frontal. So this guy should really move. Oh, Sanguine or Volcanic is messing me up. knocked me up right as I needed to keep moving for Sanguine to not heal these guys. But again, Sanguine didn't heal a lot. 700k, too much. But it should just heal nothing. But what can you do when you get knocked up by Volcanic? I wasn't paying attention. I didn't notice that Volcanic was there. Probably gonna Bloodlust here on this first boss. I didn't discuss the Bloodlust usage with my my group. You do have 2 Evokers, so hopefully one of them uses it here. There we go. Haven't commentated yet today or used my microphone at all, really, so I'm a little bit out of it. I'm not commentating as much as I probably should to keep it interesting. Yeah, for this boss, it's important to avoid the Razor Shards. He will not track you with him with the cast. He will start casting it in whatever direction you're currently facing him at, and then you can move out of the way for that. The big thing is just making sure that you have something rolling to mitigate the damage from the ground thing. There's a Shatter coming in. For Shatter, I like to move back into the group, or into his hitbox, so that way I get knocked back out of this and he doesn't move much. And then melee can sort of position off of that. Razor Shards coming through. Trying to grab aggro on this thing. Had to use a taunt. I try not to use a taunt unless I absolutely have to. Here I'm going to have to use it again. I'm not getting much healing. Shatter's coming through. I'll try to move back into it. He'll move me out of these zones again. Razor Shards in 6 seconds. Gonna turn him towards the wall so nobody has to worry about Razor Shards at all. There's Razor Shards. Skitterer. I'm gonna hard switch to the Skitterers. I don't want them to survive a Shatter. Ooh, somebody blew that one up real fucking fast. I'm gonna position like this because I have to kite in that direction anyway. That'll work out. So yeah, the big thing with him is just making use of his Shatter knockback. I'm trying to grab aggro on that, and keeping these little Skitterers coming towards you. And obviously avoiding the, whatchamacallit, the Razor Shards, because the Razor Shards will wipe you. Like, they will straight up kill you. Unless you have, like, I don't know, Survival Instincts or Shield Wall or something really big bumping, they will wipe you out on high keys. Trying my hardest to keep these little mobs aggroed, but they're never in my range. So I always have to spam Moonfire, and I'm not an Arcane Bear, so Moonfire just does not do any damage. I used Incarnation here. I probably should have used it earlier, or not use it at all. Not use it here when he's only 3 million health left. Now he's 1 million health left. But he's dead, and that's all that matters. Bit of a waste of Incarnation, but nothing too horrible. We used Zephyr as a movement speed buff instead of using it to mitigate some of the damage from the explosions or the shatters, but oh well, I guess we have 2, so we don't need to think about it. Pro tip, when you're going through here, if you have Anvil and you're trying to keep your stacks, if you hit something with a fish, it'll put you in combat, so you'll actually be able to continue your Anvil stacks. I did link my route to these guys, so good, yeah, there's the Mind Soothe. I was really hoping for that Mind Soothe. That'll make this a lot safer because I don't have to worry about them getting pulled. Because pretty much every damn run I do, somebody pulls them. Avalanche coming through. I'm going to use a Frenzied Regen. I'm going to Incapacitating Roar this guy. And now I'm just looking at the Nasher. The Nasher is who I want to interrupt when he does that because that's like a 5-second stun. This Paladin's standing right in front of the... Oh, I need to knock him, knock him, knock him. There we go. I wasn't thinking about... It's Sanguine. When you fight a boss for a while, then you forget about Sanguine. At least that's what it's like for me. These are a little annoying because you have to keep looking at the breaker to make sure he's not... This Paladin's gonna die. 100% gonna die to a frontal. Air frontal Paladin. Yeah, we're not skipping these. I know people skip these. There's no reason to. The Paladin's either trolling me or does not understand how the frontal works. Okay, I'm hitting these guys directly because you can cleave them and they will not jump back, but if you directly target them... Why was that so hard to say? If you directly target them, they will jump back. With Ursol's Vortex, that's like a non-issue. Okay, we're gonna knock this guy back. Avalanche got casted, so he got healed quite a bit. Why is he not moving? Hello? Why was he not moving? What the fuck was that? Did you see that? That's... what the hell? I mean, it's not a big deal. It's almost 2 million healing, but it's not a huge deal. What the hell was that, though? Like, he cast Avalanche, and then he just stood there for a while. And he was like, nah, I'm not gonna move. I'm good, man. I can use my Incarnation here just to put it on cooldown. I don't really need it for any of these pulls. It's nice to have, but I don't really need it. I think the Hulk is going to go down before this guy. Nah, the little guy's going down first, 100%. People are starting to beat the crap out of him. So I'm going to knock him back once he gets low, like right about now. And hopefully they finish him off. There we go, nice. Because I want that Sanguine pull away from the Hulk. I really don't want the Hulk to have a pull underneath him. That's going to really suck. And there we go, we're going to give people movement speed and move on to the next group. The next pull is the Hulk Patrol plus the Breaker. This guy thinks he knows where I'm pulling, but he doesn't, and he also doesn't know how to not stand in front of the giant fucking frontal. Hopefully somebody kicks that so it walks over. Wasn't a kick, but that'll do. I'm going to use Survival Instincts here because I have nothing else to use. And the Piercing Shards were coming through. Okay, I'm looking at the HP. I'm gonna knock all of these little guys back and have people finish them off in the background. Unless they forget how to interrupt. Somebody interrupt him. Jesus Christ, the Paladin has an interrupt. Do I have to do everything in this group? Damn. Getting salty. Getting real salty. There's the Fracture. Piercing Shards. He wasn't in the Sanguine. That's all that mattered. I didn't want him to get healed by Sanguine. Okay, we're going to the next group. We have Ursol's Vortex for the Pelters, so we can target them directly. I'm going to start beating them up a little bit, and then I'll drop Ursol's Vortex. Otherwise, it's prone to running out of the, like the Ursol's Vortex goes away before they jump back, and that's a bit of an annoying thing to happen. I'm looking at the one that has lower HP. Once one dies, I'm going to knock back the other one, like this, and then I'll move the Breaker around over there. Just need people to care for that frontal. This guy got killed. That's my bad because he got hit by the frontal because I was moving this thing greedily. Just trying to make them cleavable. And I ended up just killing this guy dying because I was in the Shadow Priest. That's completely on me. And if for some reason you're watching this video, I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to kill you. Okay, we can charge over here and we can grab that Pelter. The Pelter will run all the way over here. The Scorch, surprisingly, actually drops a Sanguine pull. I'm not sure why that's the case, but it is, so that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to save my interrupt for when I need to, oh god, for when I need to, whatchamacallit, move this guy, but these guys kind of spread out. Let's see if somebody interrupts him. Good, somebody did interrupt him. He's going to die over here. The Sanguine pull should not affect the Pelter. But yeah, the Pelter jumped back into the pool from the little guy. That's something I wasn't anticipating, but I did have a knockback ready for it, so it wasn't a huge deal. Healer's mana pool was full, so I'm not going to hesitate pulling this. I just need to make sure that this Paladin doesn't stand on top of me when the things come down, so he doesn't put fists on me. They're like the hands that come out of the ground. We do have 3 range, so it should pretty much always go on them if I'm not mistaken. That should keep it easy. He drops it on his left, then he drops it on his right, and then if you just move him like that, you can actually make it super easy for your group to, to cleave these idols. And then you don't have to really switch from the boss at all. Okay, he's gonna do the idols again after this Sunder. Didn't even feel that Sunder. Maybe I'd feel it even less if I used Iron for once. I'm very bad about my Iron Fur usage. Somebody commented on one of my videos and said, Iron Fur please, smiley face. And if you're watching this, that made me laugh really, really hard. Okay, I gotta focus now. It's this guy, that one, this one, this one, this one. Oh. Ooh, I think it's this one on the left. Yes, I think it's this one. I really hope it is. Paladin's like, fuck this, I'm just gonna use Divine Storm. I may or may not be using Rays instead of instead of Maul. I'm hoping it's this one. I'm fairly confident it's this one, but we're gonna find out. Whew, okay, I was right. Good, 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 good. That would have been embarrassing. Strike of the Mountain, ranged can look out for that. Cool tip for Strike of the Mountain is that you only really have to move a teeny tiny bit. You don't have to move much at all in order to avoid the Strike of the Mountain. Like, this movement is enough. Literally, that's all you need to do. As long as you move in the direction of a gap and not in the direction of one of the thingy things. Hands that come out. He has 9 million health left, so I am going to use my Incarnation here. Just trying to beat him down. I'm using Raise instead of Maul. That's an accident. He's going to get another intermission, and that's unfortunate, but we still have plenty of time to do this. Okay, now everyone's watching. I don't have to worry about it too much. Okay, here. Oh. Hardest part of the dungeon. Yeah, everybody gets it. Immediate consecration right underneath it. That one was easy because there weren't any bellowing idols to kill from the boss leaving, so the second time he goes down under, it's pretty easy. He comes out, immediately hits you with the fists. Alright, and he's dead. We're gonna give people movement speed, and I'm gonna give somebody a ride, like this guy. Can hop on. He doesn't want to. But the evoker does. We're gonna mind soothe these. Very nice. I'm grabbing the fishies, because it's 60%. We're gonna need the fishies so we don't have to pull extra after the last boss. I'm not gonna bother pulling these into the next group. We're very fine on time, so I'm not too worried about whatchamacallit, dragging them through to the next group, because it's a long drag, and then it makes the Sanguine management quite a bit harder for no particular gain. Like, yeah, you gain time, but I'm good on time. 18 minutes is more than enough to do the second half of this dungeon. There's a lot less trash to clear in the second half, and it's easier to clear that trash. That was a nice knockback, thank you. I didn't have to use mine. Okay, we're gonna grab this, and we're gonna grab the Geode. Again, have to look out for the Geode. I'm gonna use Survival Instincts here because I have nothing else to use. The Geode drops a pool. We're gonna try and move this. Okay, somehow that worked out. Metamorphosis, I need to interrupt that on the little Tar Splitter grubs. We have a lurker in the back. I'm gonna target him. Just trying to turn on friendly health bars so I can see where my friends are. Use Rage of the Sleeper, trying to keep them moving. Okay, it worked out. I don't think anyone got healed by Sanguine. Okay, never mind, Sanguine did heal 600k. I'm not sure what exactly it healed, but it worked out. Oh, I just used Incarnation by like reflex, but I guess it doesn't matter too much. I'm confident in the group's DPS, especially considering the fact that we have Bloodlust available here. We're going to Incapacitating Roar, that metamorphosis from the grub. We really don't want it to turn into that nasty thing. Luckily the grubs at least don't leave any, what's it called, Sanguine, so it shouldn't be an issue. Move the Grub Master. Why is he so slow? Oh, I guess it's from the grub dying on top of him and leaving the poison. I guess that's supposed to teach you about this mechanic. Okay, we have Bloodlust running. Should have Bloodlust running. There it is. Very good. Okay, the Drogbar leap down from the stands. We're going to look behind us. Just going to make sure we stay in melee range. And we're going to drop Ursol's Vortex on top of the guys in the back. That'll actually yoink them back to the start. It makes it super easy to kill them in time before they reach the boss. So it's something I strongly recommend doing. There's nothing else to use Ursol's Vortex on here, so that's something you can do. Now I gotta keep an eye out for where the newest pools are, so I'm just gonna be looking at the boss like this. I'm facing the boss right now. I've held down left click and turned around to look at where the pools are. Just gonna move really quick to not stand in those pools. Okay, that one back there is the freshest one. Just going to quickly battle res this guy. There we go. But yeah, I was looking behind because I need to make sure that I know which pools are the newest ones. Otherwise, I'll stand in a pool that goes away. Like if I stood in the one that was over here somewhere, that would have been catastrophic because I'm just straight up dead, right? I just die if that happens, if I get caught in that pool. If I get caught with my pants down, we're gonna drop Ursol's Vortex down again so they get yoinked back. I'm not doing a good job of monitoring my own health during this fight. That's something I do pretty poorly because I'm just so focused on the ads and making sure I help out with the ads that I don't really take care of my health properly. 20 million health left on the boss. I'm gonna look behind me to see where the newest pools are. Don't actually know where the newest pools are. I'm gonna go with the one that's the furthest away. Yeah, that one's it. That works, yeah. Spiked tongue coming out. We're good. This evoker healer, by the way, absolute beast. This is a really hard heal boss. This guy's doing great. So Raven, if you're for some reason watching this video, nice job, dude. This was such an easy run thanks to you. Alright, rinse repeat on the boss now. Drogbar leaping down. We're gonna look behind us to drop the Ursol's Vortex on them. Like so. We managed to get both of them. We're gonna use a Frenzied Regen here. And a Rage of the Sleeper. Yeah, these guys are kicking ass big time. 8 million health left on the boss. Plenty of time to do the rest of the dungeon. Very nice. I'm getting kind of low. Ooh, I did make it. Good. Man, druids are so mobile. This is easy. We're hoping that this boss dies now before the next ads come out, or rather before the next ads get eaten. That would be ideal. I think it will. Just trying to charge back in because it's important to stay in melee range as tank. You want to make sure you stay in melee range. I don't really have anything to help myself survive here, but I just popped Nature's Vigil when the boss was about to die. That's not something I should have done, but oh well. You can't do everything perfect. I sure as hell don't do everything perfect. Here we're going to keep an eye out on the Demolisher. The Demolisher basically, at 70% health, he will, whatchamacallit, he will try to turn into that giant beast thing. So we're keeping an eye out for that. To interrupt it with, there we go. Interrupted it with incapacitating roar. Now we also dispelled the Dominator's Frenzy. For some reason, the breakers that are down here, you can CC, you can knock them back. I'm going to do that right here to interrupt his avalanche and also to move the Demolisher. He does recast avalanche right away, so it's not a huge gain. But what we really wanted out of that was to get the Demolisher away, so the Sanguine pull from him doesn't affect the Dominator. There we go. That worked out. Here you want to focus the Trapper. I will put a skull marker on the Trapper. I'm going to use Incarnation here, which was probably not the call, because these trash pulls won't last long enough for me to get my Incarnation back, but it should be fine. We're going to probably have no issues on the last boss, unless people really mess up their positioning on the, whatchamacallits. We're just going to move this guy so he doesn't die under the Dominator. People are going to finish him off. Very nice. But yeah, as long as people don't mess up the positioning on the crystals on the last boss, we should be perfectly fine. I'm just worried a little bit about the Paladin, to be honest. The Paladin has a tendency of standing right in front of whatever it is I'm hitting and getting hit by frontals, or almost hit by frontals. I don't know why he does it, because he's also getting parried at the same time, so it's reducing his DPS. Excuse me, I had a bit of a hiccup there. He really shouldn't be doing that. Again, I'm looking at the Trapper to knock him back once he's low HP. People should be focusing the Trapper. They're kind of just cleaving him. I'm gonna knock him back now and hope that he gets killed. There we go. If it's not obvious, the reason I'm knocking him back is because he's going to drop a Sanguine Pool, and I don't want that dropping underneath the Dominator. If that happens right as he casts Frenzy, he's going to get healed for like a second. 1.3 seconds is I think the Frenzy cast. That's a lot of healing in Sanguine if he's getting it the whole time. It's going to give him some time to heal. Stand here so he can mount up on me if he wants to for the fight. Okay, and we go. I'm going to move it closer to the range because I don't trust the range to move. And we're going to get started here. Crystal Spire. Next thing he casts is the structure, so we're going to move so that he has the structure right underneath him. Or that the structure gets put right there. There's a landslide. I'm going to get hit by a molten crash. That can be spell reflected by a warrior, by the way, so that's like a really, really strong class here is running warrior. I think the world's first 30 on... Maybe not the... Actually, yes, I think it was the world's first 30. Did this with a warrior instead of a druid, even though druids are so strong right now. Okay, 75% on the second crystal. Yeah, we got plenty of time for this. There's going to be another crystal, and there's going to be another landslide right after that. There's the landslide. We're going to try and move him closer to this crystal so that the warrior can just DPS, or the paladin can just DPS. I'm hoping that I'm safe here. Yes, I am. Not being hit by it. I'm able to hit this, and the paladin is as well. Okay, we're just going to move him out of this. Crystal coming down. We're going to make sure nobody gets hit by that, or we're going to move him closer. I'm going to survival instincts this because I don't trust myself to survive otherwise. Magma structure right on top of this. That was perfect execution. I love that. I'm going to use my incarnation here to help with the DPS on the Charskin. Landslide coming through. I don't have to worry about it breaking crystal or anything. We're going to get a second stun on the Charskin. That's going to be coming in clutch because we didn't manage to finish it off with the first one. Now we just need to not break the last crystal. The third crystal he does with a landslide. I think I should be able to do that. I hope so. Okay, I'm going to Barkskin here just for that smash. I do have Barkskin now macroed to whatchamacallit. Okay, there's a magma wave. Gonna give people movement speed. I wasn't thinking there for a second, but I do have Barkskin now macroed to my Thrash. I'm gonna move him this way. Landslide coming in, and then he's gonna do a crystal, which makes it super safe for me. I'm going to turn him around this way because he's not gonna landslide before he does the structure, and then he's gonna put the structure down right on top of this when he does decide to cast it. At least I would think he would. Okay, I need to be careful with this landslide. Okay, I did manage to get the structure there. I don't know, I was a little bit confused because my WeakAuras showing me the cooldowns and abilities of bosses wasn't really working out. Had to use a Frenzied Regen there. Okay. Charskin isn't going to get insta-stunned. He's not going to go for me, though. He's going to go for one of the DPS or the healer. They need to drag him into that. Just need to make sure landslide doesn't hit anything. I'm going to use a Frenzied Regen here for this Molten Crash. It's going to recover me quite well. Okay, boss should be dead here. There's nothing I really need to do for this anymore. Just need to survive this magma wave, and then we should be able to survive the next magma structure without an issue. 4 million damage, I think we can do that before he kills us. Let's go, guys. Smash his face. Okay, I had to move a bit for the frontal because the paladin, like I said, is going to stand right in front of the boss for some reason. But the boss is dead and I don't have to deal with that anymore. Keystone Hero, Neltharion's Lair. That was a hell of a run, man. I fucking love the last boss in here. He's so fun to do as a tank. I love it. Ooh, I'm going to stop swearing. I swear a lot. So a little recap of today's video. You didn't see any footage of it, but I did a 16 or 17 clear of Neltharion's Lair. That was in order to get myself familiar with how the mobs interact with Sanguine and to figure out my route for when I do the 20. I didn't show you guys any footage because I was going to use Mythic Dungeon tools to show you my route. If you watched earlier in the video at the beginning, I explained basically what I was going to do with each of these pulls and why I was going to do it, at least for the ones that are more like difficult on Sanguine that you have to pay attention to. I think I'm going to do this in the future actually because I'd like to see more people use Mythic Dungeon tools. It's a super useful add-on. It's extremely useful for tanks because you can figure out the percentage that you're going to have once you finish a dungeon. It's also super useful for your group because you can share them the route. When you're in a party, you can click the share button and it actually posts a link in chat that people can click. It'll import the Mythic Dungeon tools route that you have set up, and they'll be able to see which mobs you're going to pull, and they can plan their cooldowns accordingly. I think for my 20 clears, especially on Fortified, I'm going to show how I'm going to do the dungeon through this tool because I think it's extremely valuable. Anyway, once we were done with the explanation, I went into the actual 20 Neltharion's Lair, and I think we did okay. Having timed the 20 Neltharion's Lair, now I only have one more dungeon to do, and that's going to be in the next episode, and that is Halls of Infusion. That's pretty much it for the recap. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode in that Halls of Infusion.